Now, Nimbus 9 was the original recording studio in Toronto.
That is right.
In Yorkville.
Absolutely.
And we did Nightmare and Alice Goes to Hell at Nimbus 9.
Right.
Now, a great story about that is I used to live right across the street. He had a friend from Hawaii that had a big Victorian house. They had an extra room. Instead of me staying at a hotel, I stayed in the upper room.
He stayed in the attic.
Oh.
And they had a little 6-year-old kid. And the lady went to work, and she says, he gets home from school an hour before I do. Could you just watch him? Bring him over to the studio. And I went, sure. His name was Key. Little Key.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd bring him over, and we'd take him, have ice cream, and he'd go over and play with the dog and everything like this. Keanu Reeves.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was him until years later. And he's doing an interview, and he says, my babysitter was Alice Cooper. And I went, what's he talking about? And he says, in Toronto, I lived, and when I went to the recording, I went, Keanu.
Yeah, I knew. He didn't know. But
Right.
I knew. Yeah, and then he was in the same school with my son David, so they played hockey together and stuff. But he would just come over and hang out at the studio.
But this kid was our mascot.
Yeah.
He was like, he'd play with the instruments, and we had a big black dog that he played with over there, and he'd get ice cream all over everything.
And we had a pinball machine.
So we just let him loose in the studio. And
Very cool.
Key.
Well,
Key.
that's not your first babysitting. You babysat Frank's kids, didn't you?
What's up?
Frank Zappa?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, back then, in the day? Yeah, it was, that was Dweezil and Moon Unit.
Yeah, Dweezil and Moon Unit. Yeah. Somebody told me a story that you opened for Led Zeppelin in Los Angeles. You didn't know who Led Zeppelin was.
It was 68? About 68.
68, 69.
And we finally got into the whiskey, Alice Cooper. We drove up, and there we are, Alice Cooper and Led Zeppelin. And so I've never heard of Led Zeppelin. Have you? No. And Led Zeppelin's going, I've never heard of Alice Cooper. Have you?
Right.
Nobody had ever heard of either one of us.
What a time, when all these bands were coming over.
So we went for rehearsal, and we're standing there, and these guys walk in, and I went, whoa.
Yeah.
That guy was in the Yardbirds. I said, Jimmy Page. I said, that guy was in the Yardbirds. And so immediately I said, we're opening for you.
Wow.
And the guy says, no. I said, we'll flip a coin.
Wow.
And they opened for us one night. We opened for them the next night. Then the very next night, we played a club called the Cheetah Club with some band called Pink Floyd that nobody had ever heard of, and we'd never heard of. Well, actually, we had heard of them. We had their albums.
Wow.
But Sid Barrett.
Well, and you want to know something? This is really true because I was there. When we did our radio tour, this was such a great band to work with because I'm the producer. Most of the time, the producer, you're in the studio. It's wham bam, thank you ma'am, thank you very much, and then they go on and do what they do. But we were like family. So when we went out to promote the records, I went on the road with them to the radio stations and stuff.
Cool.
The band Alice Cooper had discovered a couple of things: T-Rex and Pink Floyd, that nobody in America really knew.
Yeah.
And in those days, when you'd go to a radio station, it would be like now, you'd hang out, but the guy would say, well, what are you listening to? Mm-hmm. And literally, Alice would say, well, there's this band from England, Pink Floyd, and give the guy the album to put a cut on.
Yeah. I'd say, put on Emily Play, see Emily Play.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they would go, wow. Or I'd say, put on this Bang a Gong song,
Yeah.
So like some of the first exposure, especially in the sort of Midwest where we were doing a lot of radio, some of that first exposure to those bands was because the Cooper guys were aware of it.
Well, picture this. We played in this club with Pink Floyd. They ran out of money. We ran out of money. We lived in Venice. They moved in with us.
Really?
So you have Alice Cooper and Pink Floyd living in the house together. And now Sid Barrett was already
gone. Wow. Yeah.
I get up one morning, and Sid Barrett's at the, kitchen table, and he's got, blue velvet pants on, and, and he's like, and he's staring at a box of cornflakes. The way that I would watch television. Yeah. And he's going, and I'd say, so what's going on? He goes, pointing to the box of cornflakes, and I went, okay. And I'd go in the other room, I go, he's not well,
Wow. Sid Barrett. Wow.